I'm Chip Townsend, and this is the Team Chip Podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to the Team Chip Podcast. Super excited to be here with you today. Just want to talk about some training consistency, the importance of training. So like for martial arts school owners and operators, we talk all the time, or at least I know we do in the Team Chip organization about, health and fitness and, training for longevity and things like that. But man, it can get heavy sometimes and life can get in the way, basically we can get inconsistent, right? And one of our kind of rallying cries in our school, our battle cries is consistency is key. And I know you guys probably get tired of hearing me talk about it, but man, it is so important that we get consistent in everything that we do, including serving ourselves so that we can be healthy and be our best for our students. Remember, our students, our clients, our people, and really we'll get into kind of why later, but everybody needs us at our best. And so just wanted to kind of jump in and talk about training inconsistencies. Has it ever happened to me? Absolutely. A while back, I had an injury, had to take a little time off. I jumped on the scale one day and I was up about 30 pounds heavier than I'd ever been in my life. And I went, oh my goodness, I had gotten inconsistent. I wasn't watching what I was eating. I was, using the injury as an excuse just to make poor choices, honestly. And it was all within my own control. Even though I had an injury, I could have been doing other things. I could have been really, maybe focused in on the diet, stuff like that a little bit more. But I know that we hit these seasons, these inconsistent seasons where, life gets busy. If you're a martial arts school owner, your enrollments are going up and, things are good. Things are good. And we push back our own health and our own, self-care so that we can serve our people. But at the end of the day, that's kind of a negative cycle, because as our health goes down, man, so many things ripple out of that. And then eventually, man, the business may be doing great, but we're feeling awful, right? And so we really have to take care of ourselves, family demands, staff needs, events, just things get in the way and things get busy. But consistency isn't built in perfect seasons. It's proven in chaotic ones. So, being consistent, listen, I say it again, isn't built in perfect seasons. Maybe it is. That's where we practice it when the time is right and things are good, right? But it's proven in chaotic times. And what I mean by that is if we have a consistent schedule, we have good habits, and even a habit that's been pushed into almost a ritual, it proves itself during the chaos when things are busy and like I said, family demands are happening and the staff needs are high and the school is your business in general is just really getting busy. So it's not about having time. It's about deciding that it still matters to you, because we all have the same. And I have to remind myself of this all the time. I see people that are super successful and I'm like, wow, gosh, they're fit. Their family's amazing. Their business is booming. They've got the same 24 hours in the day that this guy does, that you have, that we all do. We all have that same 68 hours in the week that everybody else has. And we just have to manage it well. So I don't want to beat it up, but I want to talk a little bit about, the kind of the trap of inconsistent seasons, or, the importance of getting to consistency and saying that way. I know I feel repetitive beating that word up, but, busy seasons can be kind of predictable sometimes. And, we can enrollment cycles, back to school is kind of a busy time. Then, Christmas end of the year can slow down, and then New Year, boom, it picks back up. So we can read those things, we can schedule our calendar a year ahead and know what events, our testing schedules, our travel schedules, if we're out teaching other seminars or clinics or doing other things, we can know our family schedules, and have that kind of planned out and plan around those things. But the other side of that is when those things happen, like I said earlier, sometimes we will sacrifice ourselves as leaders, thinking that we should put ourselves on the bottom of the priority list and let everyone else have the priority and have our time and how we need. And what we do is we tell ourselves things will slow down. Things will slow down one of these days. And when it slows down, I'll jump back in the gym. I'll pick it back up and I'll get busy again. But as well as I do, going to the gym, being healthy, reading daily, praying daily, doing all those things, it's got to be a habit and it's got to be built in and we got to stick to it. When those busy seasons come, we have to find a way and remind ourselves again, I have the same 24 hours as the guy down the street or the guy in the next town over that does such a great job with it. What am I missing and how can I get better at those things? So we just again need to get on it. So uh waiting for things to slow down can be kind of a trap. Remember the tortoise and the hare. The tortoise and the hare, they have a race. I know you know the story. You have to know the story. It's a great kid story. The tortoise just chugs along and everyone's laughing at him. The hare is making fun of him, like, yeah, there's no way you'll beat me in a race. And the hare, the rabbit, super fast. He runs ahead and he gets so far ahead. He looks back and goes, man, I'm getting tired. He didn't pace himself, getting tired and really poured it all in, pulls over and he takes a nap. And sure enough, the tortoise, who was managing his time well, taking his time, not burning himself out in the first round of the fight, just walks right on past, walks across the finish line, and the hare wakes up and goes, wow, I lost. I got beat. No way a tortoise should have ever beat me. The lesson that we're trying to teach our kids and trying to teach ourselves in that, I think, is consistency, planning, scheduling, making sure you're staying on what you need to do, even the most fundamental, simple things. And that's so important. So remember, if your training only happens when it's convenient, it's probably not a priority. It's a hobby, right? So you got to get your training, you got to get your health and your fitness in. And so one of the things I want you to do is, just if you're in a negative cycle right now, or if you're feeling too busy to do things, think about what is it that's gotten you off track? Why are you feeling that way? And, can you put a finger on when it is that you typically fall off? So if you're a person that it's kind of common, you do good for periods of the year and you fall off, can you put your finger on what's holding you back, what's slowing you down in those periods of the year, and make a plan to get around that? And remember our why. I know I talk about this, but it's so important. Our why has to be strong enough to get us through those tough seasons when we are having heavy demands on our life and our time. Our why has to be big enough that we're willing to go, okay, I know the demands are there, but I have to pour back into myself and I have to take some time for myself. Surface level goals, don't hold under pressure. These have to be deep. And what I mean by that is I've shared this before, but my why is, first and foremost in my life is Jesus Christ, is God. Number two, sounds kind of funny. I put myself at number two, not out of ego or self-serving, but I used to put myself at the bottom of the list. And I actually was at an event, a 2-day event, and passed out. And they heart monitored me for, 48 hours and put me on stress tests and all kinds of stuff. And they were like, man, you're healthy as a horse. You were just burning your candle too hard and not getting enough rest and not taking care of yourself. And I had this reality check of my why is great, but I'm going to have to reshift the priorities inside the why some. So, it went from God is first to I'm second to Glenn Ann, my wife, my other half, the one who completes me is number three. Then my kids, team, business, family, etc., expanding out from there. So that's what drives me. And when I say your why has to be strong enough, in my humble opinion, there's nothing more important than serving God. There's nothing more important than doing God's work. There's nothing more important than spreading the gospel. There's nothing, because that decision and that relationship in my life is the one that will serve me for eternity when I pass on from this temporary existence. So for me, that's easy to be my number one priority in my why. How does that work for me? I wake up in the morning, I'm a little tired. I had a long day the day before, and I'm thinking, man, do I really want to get to the gym at 5:15 to start my workout? AM, by the way. And I go, how would God feel about that? Is he proud of me for doing this? As a father, does he look at me and go, man, son, I'm proud of you for sleeping in and getting a little extra rest whenever you should got it. You know what I mean? And now I did say, get some extra rest. Like I was pushing off the importance of rest. That is huge. You do need to schedule that in, but we do have those days where we think, you talk yourself out of it. Maybe your priorities or your why is out of order, right? And the next thing is if I don't pour into myself, how is this serving me if I sleep in and don't go get that rest? And then third, how's it serving my wife, right? So I see these things kind of crazy in a way. Uh, I like staying healthy and fit so I can serve my wife well in every way. Just you can use your imagination with that, but in every way possible, like show up to work, make a living, provide for the family, prepare, protect, all of those things in every way. And so when I think, gosh, how's this serving her if I don't get my butt up and go get busy? It's a good reminder. Okay, I've got to get up and get busy so I can be my best, so I can serve my family, etc. So I think it's just really important that we have to have a why that is strong enough to beat out our excuses, to beat out the days where the schedule does get off track and things aren't planned well and we go, "Ugh, I got to go get it done anyway." So make sure you have your why in place. Make sure your uh your excuses aren't bigger than your purpose in life. And so what'll happen is if you get a grip on this as a martial arts school owner or a business owner of any kind, it'll begin to ripple out into your team, your culture, your staff. But just remember, your training isn't just for you. Your health and your fitness isn't just for you. It's leadership in action. It's leadership. I tell my team all the time, like, hey, the best leaders in the world, the General George Washingtons of the world, didn't stand at the bottom of the hill and say, "Charge, guys, charge." He jumped out in front, grabbed a gun, and said, "Follow me. Let's go conquer." And so, great leaders lead through healthy action. So, uh, I would encourage you. I like to write things down. I like to see things on visual. Sit down and write down one reason that you refuse to fall off the horse, you refuse to fall off your patterns, even in busy seasons. What is that? And again, I already shared mine. I've shared it before. You probably heard it before, but God is number one, man. If I'm laying here in bed being a bum, when I'm called biblically to be a man and go work, uh, how's this reflecting on my father, my heavenly father, right? And my dad, my earthly dad, right? My dad was a worker. And so you got to find a why, find something that drives you. Maybe it's your kids. And I will tell you at 54 with 3 grandchildren, I'm hyper driven to be healthy and fit because when they're out in the front yard, they're on their scooters, they're playing in the grass, they're running around on the trampoline. I want to join them. I want them to have memories of pow pow playing pow pow with them. You know what I mean? Like, so that's a huge, huge why for me. Remember, accountability, changes everything. So now that you've kind of realized, okay, I've got these seasons that are out of control, maybe pin down like here's a couple of times a year and reasons I'm getting off track. Maybe pin down something, a reason that something that's big enough to keep you from falling off the horse. Accountability. What do I mean by that? Training partners, staff, your team, let your team know. Like, if for us, we call our staff our team. I don't like to think of them as people working for us. I like to think of them as my brothers and sisters. We're all here together making this happen as a machine, as a family. Uh, Let them know what you're doing. Let them know, hey guys, I'm going to get on this workout plan and I need you guys to ask me about it every now and then. And I tell you what, when people come to me, people on our staff, our team come and they say, hey, I decided that I'm going to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to start walking 5 miles a day, whatever it is. One of the first things I do is I say, I am so proud of you. Way to go. I don't unintentionally go, really? You think you can keep that up? Which is kind of the way I think the average mind thinks. Like we tend to tear people down even unintentionally, right? But my first thought is, I'm so proud of you. Yes. And then I almost always ask this question pretty consistently. Can I bother you about it? Can I ask you about it? Can I check on your progress? And then every so often I'm walking down the through the lobby and hey, how are those walks going? Hey, how's that exercise going? And that accountability for them, I think, is huge. And as a leader, it just shows I care. I do care. I do care that you're healthy and that you're fit. I hope you get to see your grandchildren someday, right? And so it shows you care. So accountability, find ways to be accountable. Let your team know. They'll be proud of you. If they have the right mindset and the culture, they'll be so proud of you that you're making a decision to be your best at all times, right? And I mentioned it earlier, but that'll trickle over into your business. Your spouse, your wife, a man, you got a wife, got a husband, you know, let them know, hey, I am ready to make a change and I'm going to start doing X. Support me, please. And if you have the right spouse, they'll be on board. They'll jump on. Like anytime Glenann has ever come to me and said, "Hey, I want to compete in this or I want to do that," I've done my best. I'm sure I failed at it at times, but I've done my best to go, "All right, honey, how can I help? What do you need from me to help make this happen? Let's go." Right? So, your spouse can be an amazing and should be an amazing support partner, accountability partner for this. Uh, even some long distance accountability can work too. You have old friend from college, their high school that you stay connected with sometimes, and maybe you're seeing pictures of them and they're getting a little off track, you're a little off track, you reach out and go, "Hey, I decided I'm going to get fit again, I'm going to do this or that." But anyway, the big point is accountability is huge. Make sure when you have accountability partners, and I did touch this, I'll say it again, but training partners are one of the best accountability partners, because you got to get up, show up and meet them, you know? And I don't know about you, but I have a student who is becoming a good friend, and I try to really be careful with the personal and personable boundaries. But he started coming to work out with me, lift weights with me. We train together on the mat. And man, I tell you what, some mornings I wake up and go, I'm so tired. I don't want to go today. And I think, oh boy, what's Josh going to think? I better show up. So I get there. So having a training partner can be super powerful. So just again, find a way to be accountable accountable to somebody. Isolation, when we're alone and we just go, I'll do it alone, I'll do it alone, I'll do it alone. We're meant biblically for community. We're meant to connect and be with people. And absolutely, there's time for isolation and quiet time. We all need that too, but we're designed to connect. And I think accountability in this area is just a huge thing. So isolation and complacency, we can get complacent with where we are. They breed inconsistency. There's that word again, consistent, inconsistent. Which one are you? So I want to encourage you to be consistent. So find training partners, set an accountability this next week. Say, I'm going to set an accountability checkpoint here. I'm going to reach out to Bob, and I'm going to let him know what I'm doing. And I'm going to ask him to be my accountability partner and encourage me. And I would even encourage you to have 2 or 3 accountability partners, your spouse, a friend at work, a training partner. You'll have multiple, because sometimes one or the other, they'll kind of slide off the accountability wagon. Right. And so anyway, just get somebody that can help you to stay on track and make you feel a little guilty when you don't get your job done and do it well. Right. Have a plan, not just intentions. The road to hell was built with good intentions, but intentions never got off the couch because they intended to, but they just kept sitting there. Right. So, it's not intentions. It's actually a plan, an actionable plan. I'll train when I can. Those words, I'll train when I can, that doesn't work. It doesn't work. Schedule your training times. If you need to, short sessions, 20 minutes of something, a little bit. Hanshi Dave Kovar says this, his father passed it to him. I think a little bit of something is better than a lot of nothing. 10 minutes at work of squats, a few push-ups next to your desk. There's just so many things that we can do to stay healthy and stay fit. If you have an hour lunch, right? You have an hour lunch, 30 minutes to put in a light lunch, and 20 minutes to walk, and 10 to get back to work. There's always something to do. So short sessions are okay. And the more we age, I really believe, based on studies and what's happening in my life at 54 years old, that just, a half hour to an hour of something consistent every day is serving me so much more than a killer workout twice a week. Right. So get the times scheduled, get them on your calendar, make them a priority. Let your accountability partners know, these are my times and my days that I'm going to get this done. Define the focus of your training. Are you going to do some cardio days? Are you going to do some weight days? If you're in martial arts, are you going to have boxing and kicking days, grappling days? Kind of define it down and make a plan. I personally do. I have days that I lift weights that are a little more heavily focused on weightlifting. And I have days that I do grappling, days I do some striking. And I try to stay very consistent with that, which that consistency allows it to be measurable as well, which leads us into track something. Days trained. I mean, there's so many apps out there where you can track, like days trained. Do you have a streak for so many days? Rounds completed, measuring weight, endurance, recovery times. Your smartwatches, they track your heart rate and all these different things. So there's just so many things that should make it easy. But remember, Something easy isn't always simple to get done, but there's so many things to help make it easy. So find ways to track that schedule and that work that you're getting done. And it track your consistency like you would expect your students to. I don't know about you, but we encourage our students to, jot down their weight, to do some measurements, to pay attention to how long their win last in classes and kind of track that over time and improve that. Uh, anyway, get it planned, get it scheduled. Health check equals leadership responsibility. What I mean by that, and again, 54, it's becoming a little more of a priority, I guess. I'm no longer, impervious to the world. Uh, Go to the doctor, get a little bit, get some blood work once a year, get yourself checked out, get your colonoscopies done, get those things done. Make sure that you're healthy. Prevention is the best medicine. But, and some of these checks are simple. It's not just the once a year, go to the doctor and get things checked out, but simple weigh-in, weight check, blood pressure check, energy, just a self, like, how's my energy doing these days? What are my recovery times? It's not vanity. Remember, it's not vanity and ego to self-check yourself. It becomes ego when we're on Facebook blasting it out as a brag. If we're blasting it out as encouragement with a healthy message, that's one thing. But if we're on there going, "Hey, look at me and how awesome I am," that's a whole different ballgame. And I don't think most people do that, but it happens. But remember, it's not vanity. Don't let excuses get in your way. Sometimes we think, "Oh, people will think I've got an ego or I'm vain." We all have an ego. Ego means eke God out. And every time my ego starts to kick in and I think I need to look good for whatever that's unhealthy, I think about that. Eat God out. I know God, come back into my life, be in my heart. I need you in the middle and I need to stay grounded here. But it's not vanity to have health checks. It's good leadership. It's good stewardship of this body that we were gifted and blessed with from God. Your longevity in business depends on your physical, mental, and spiritual capacities, but your physical capacity is really important. Even if you have a desk job, you've got to be able to show up and get the work done. So something I want you to think about here is schedule a health check. Something, start like once a week, I'm going to get on the scale. That could be a health check. Once a week, I'm going to check my blood pressure or get it checked. I don't know how that works for you. I'm blessed. Glenann is a nurse and we have a blood pressure cuff in the house, and she can check me and her every so often and kind of and monitor that a little bit. You'll be surprised sometimes at what you find. I've been surprised at myself thinking I'm pretty healthy and go, "Oh, my blood pressure is a little high." And then realize, man, last few days have been stressful. I've not been sleeping well. So get some self checks on your calendar and check yourself out. And remember, it's not vanity. It's not ego. It's being your best for God, your family, your team to serve. And when you do that well, it's so powerful. Remember, your consistency too sets a culture, right? Uh, your students in your school will notice it when you're healthier and fit, you're happier, more outgoing. Your parents of your students are going to notice it. Your staff will notice it and even be more likely to mirror it because it's you're inspecting what you expect. You're modeling what you want, right? And I know these things are all cliche, but there's a lot of truth and a lot of cliche, right? You know, reinforce your consistency, show up consistently, reward effort and attendance. Now, I'm kind of shifting here a little bit too with your team as you get consistent, get yourself in a better place. Uh, I'll give you a quick example. So years ago, we have had a great team, but a lot of our guys weren't exercising, weren't eating right, didn't read enough, in my opinion, weren't expanding their boundaries and trying to grow enough. So every staff meeting, basically every meeting we had, I added to the top of the meeting notes, I need a positive win. I don't care if it's personal, something from our business. I'd love to hear something out of the business, but even if you just had a personal win, you had a benchmark in your life, man, just share it with us. We want to celebrate that with you. So a win, what are you reading and what was your workout yesterday or what's it going to be today? And lo and behold, even my most inactive team members all read and all work out now, which Glenann and I were already doing. But by adding that accountability and adding that to our notes and showing up for the team, it's encourages them now to be more consistent and them to work harder at what they do. And we reward that mostly, honestly, just through, man, we're proud of you. Let's go. Keep it up, and encouragement. Remember, too, rewards don't have to be about money or bonuses. I mean, absolutely, that's amazing. And we do that as well. But many times it's just simple recognition, just saying their name and saying, I'm proud of you, is such a powerful thing. So, when you get consistent on these things, you get consistent on your health, your team is more likely to do the same thing again, because you're inspecting what you expect. So remember, inconsistent seasons are going to hit us all. We've all been there. And what I mean by that is we're working out, doing good, life's healthy. And then all of a sudden your business gets busy, kids' activities go through the roof, your personal kids, there's all these things. We all deal with it. We can work our way through that. Your why, gosh, get on that why. What is your why? What's your purpose? What drives you? As a man, providing, protecting, preparing, praying for, all of those things are an important part of my life. And I have to be my best to do those things. Accountability, get an accountability partner, someone that can step up with you, beside you, check on you, remind you, all of those things, and stick with them. And when you have a great accountability partner, appreciate them for it. Even if they call you out on the bad days, they're just doing what you asked. If you've failed for a week and they go, hey, how's it going? You go, don't be mad at them. It's not their fault. You built the nest, you live in it, So create a plan, find those inconsistencies, pin them down and go, I'm not going to allow that to get me off track, and then build a plan, because just the thought, I'll train next week, isn't going to get us there. We need to write it down. We need to plot it. We need to have a direction, track it to keep us consistent. That helps too. And I tell you what, I tell business, my people that I coach in business, metrics stink. Tracking numbers is no fun. In the beginning, when you're not used to them and you don't quite understand them yet, they're no fun. And when you're not winning, they're no fun. When you begin to win, when you begin to see positive movement in the metrics, now the metrics now are not business. The metrics are you, your weight, your heart rate, your recovery times, your consistency. Those things are the metrics. When they improve, man, metrics are fun. Metrics are so fun. Remember, get a health check. And if you haven't in a while, just encourage you to go out there and get yourself checked up, get a little blood work, go see your doctor, blood pressure, all those things, and just make sure you're in a good place, especially if you're getting up into your 40s. It's just an important thing to do. So many people I know have hit their 40s and had something kind of heavy hit them, and it's like, oh my goodness. And the ones who are getting checks are preventing, catching it early, and the ones that haven't, I've had some friends really suffer. So I just encourage you to get stuff, get those checks done. And remember, when we do these things well, at the end of the day, we're leaders, all of us. When we lead well, our team, our culture, everything will flourish and improve because of it. So anyway, schedule your first training, get an accountability partner, track your consistency. I hope that helps. I know you hear these things all the time. I love you guys. No matter who you are, love you. Hope you enjoy these and get some nuggets out of them. Message us, let us know what you would like to hear. Shoot us a 5-star review, and I hope to catch you on the next episode. Thank you for tuning into the Team Chip Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget, subscribe, share, and or leave a review, because we need you. We appreciate you so much. And without you, we can't make this happen. Remember, consistency is the key to success. So go out there and never be outworked.